In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a wall that you can place in between your house and your garage. Now, if we inspect this wall, what I've got here already is just a regular interior partition wall, 4.5 inches thick. It's got gypsum board on both sides, and it's got a 2x4 stud inside. Okay, and in fact, that's where we're getting the name here. It's the thickness that you would have if you added a 2x4 plus 1/2 inch sheetrock or gypsum board on both sides. The total thickness would be 4.5 inches. Now, that's great for all of these interior walls. Place the same thing throughout. It's not great, however, between the house, this is my house and this is my garage, but it's not great in between these two areas because we need more insulation, more than we can fit in a 2x4 or 2x4 stud cavity. You can see that my other exterior walls, they are thicker. They're thick enough for that insulation, but they also have siding, and so I can't use those walls. Instead, what I need to do is create a brand new wall type, one that doesn't exist yet, that I can place right here between the house and the garage and maybe a few other places. If I select this and I hit the drop down, you'll find that there actually is a wall called a 6.5 inch partition, which is honestly mostly what I'm looking for. The problem with this one is that when you see this little enlarged image, it's showing everything white in between the gypsum board, which means it must have a metal stud. When you hover over this one, it's brown, so it's a wood stud, which is why I started with this one. So what you can do in your own project, first place a 2x4 in between house and garage, select the wall, and then we're just going to modify this one. So I'm going to click Edit Type, and before I start making changes, I got to recognize that if I were to change this right now, it would change the wall selected, but it would also change every other wall that's using the same wall type. In my case, every interior wall would become too thick. So instead, we're going to duplicate this. And once we give it a new name, that would mean only the wall that's selected is going to receive the changes. So we want to call this a 6.5 inch partition. Now, unfortunately, I can't call it just that because there's already a wall called 6.5 inch partition. So I think I'm just going to call this one garage. 6.5 inch or garage partition, I guess, would make more sense, wouldn't it? However you name it, it will be fine. Okay, and then we're going to go in and we're going to edit it. It shows that the structural portion, the lumber inside, is 3.5 inches thick, indicating there's a 2x4 there. We're just going to update that so it becomes a 2x6, which is 5.5 inches thick. When I click OK, that wall gets thicker, and I didn't affect any other walls. Now I do want to point out, even though it's called garage, that was kind of because I had to give it some kind of unique name. I'm going to use it in one other place. If you've got plumbing and you want a 2x6 wall, it's not required, but if you want it to be 2x6 because you know that the plumbers are gonna love you for it, because it's hard to put all the pipes that they need for plumbing inside of a thin wall like this, I'm going to update this one to also be 2x6. Okay, and I'm going to do it first by separating the left from the right, because over here I don't have plumbing. That doesn't need to be 2x6. Right here I'm anticipating a toilet will be there. So I've got the sink plus the toilet. This whole wall will make 2x6. I'm going to do SL for slice. And if you don't know the shortcut, this is the tool, split element. Or I call it slice, but really split element's the name. Okay, hover over wherever you want to slice it. Then hit escape, select the wall you want to change, go find, in this case, a pretty bad name for a wall that is not connected to the garage in any way, but that's okay. I actually had to push my arrow key to move this so that it would align with the wall to the right of it. The reason why it's okay that it has the wrong name is that's just for me to identify what the wall is, right? Nobody else sees the name. I can just see that, okay, it's a 6.5 inch partition wall, so that'll work. Okay, let's check it out in 3D. And there's my thick wall for plumbing. There's my thick wall between house and garage, and we're done.